welcome to my channel. I am so happy you guys are here today. June has ended, so that means it is time for the July Plan With Me video. I cannot believe that we are halfway through the year already. It seems like because we're all locked up, time is just going by so much faster. I mean, it's definitely giving me a lot more time to do my bullet journaling and focus on the fun things that I like to do. But most importantly, I'm really excited to just see kind of where the second half of the year takes me. This month's theme was so exciting for me to explore. I just think that I really let my creative juices out on this one, and so I'm just excited for you guys to see it and for you guys to try it out on your own too. And so without further ado, why don't we get right into it? The way I like to start off my cover page is by lettering the month that I am working on, and so here I calligraphied the word July in a Tombow Fudenoski hard tip, and then I went in and outlined all of my symbols that represent my. So I always start off the cover page by doing the calligraphy of the month that I'm working on. So here for July, I used a Tombow Fudenoski hard tip. I really love this pen because it has a very fine tip and it really fits well with my minimalistic design. And then for the outline of the shapes, I am using a Sakura Micron 01. I usually end up using this fine liner for the outline for most of the drawings that I do, unless I need a thicker pen, which I am going to fill in the whole outline or the shape itself. I really wanted to basically make this month's theme kind of look like a collage, and I noticed I didn't add a calendar in there, and I really didn't want to because I just kind of wanted this theme to look very minimal, because there was going to be so many different symbols and shapes that are representing the beach theme itself. I love this theme so much just because you can change out the patterns, you can change out the shapes, you could change out the colors, and you can really personalize this theme to exactly what you want and how. And so when I think of a beach theme, I think of bathing suits, I think of seashells, I think of a cute summery beach hat, and of course I want to add a botanical element in there. I can't not do it at this point just because it just fits so well with my style that I like to do, and I just honestly have so much fun drawing little leaves. So, of course, I added that into my little collage, and then I decided that I was going to add patterns. It just looked a little bare to me, and patterns are literally the perfect way to make your bullet journal theme have a little spice and a little flavor to it. So for patterns, there's so many different types of patterns you can use. I love minimal looking patterns, so that means polka dots or a grid, like a graph grid, or stripes, a rainbow. I love adding rainbows to my themes for bullet journals. I love adding rainbows in, because to me it kind of just gives it that whimsical look, that whimsical minimal look that I just really adore so much. And you can add these patterns on top of the shapes of color. You can add these patterns on top of a black background and kind of just fill in the symbols. So it's really fun to just be creative and see what you can come up with. I am going to do a fun design on the umbrella here, and so you can really see how I'm being creative with the colors and the shapes and filling in certain parts of the shapes, and then using the white gel pen to add another accent to the shape while still keeping it very minimal. And next, finally, I added shapes with colors into it. Sometimes I will do this part first. I will add the shaded element in first and then do the line drawing on top of it once the color block has dried. But for this spread, I really needed to do the outline first just so I can get a feel and I can see the whole page as a whole before I start adding these blocks of colors in, just because I wanted the composition to look balanced. I decided I wanted to fill in the bathing suit so it would kind of give it a more dimensional feel to the background. I like a lot of negative space and a lot of white in the background. It just fits really well with the minimal look that I'm trying to go for. And then for my botanicals, I decided to fill those in too, just so they can kind of stand out from the shapes that are colored in the back and then the outlines of the symbols that don't have any shading whatsoever in it. It really creates a dimensional feel to this bullet journal theme, and I really love that. So next we are going to do the monthly page. I usually do not do the monthly in the same page layout as my cover. I do it on the next page over as a 2-page spread, but this month I really felt inspired to just keep it on the same page and stick with the very minimal look. And because I've never done it before, I wanted to see if I liked it any better. And that's what's cool about bullet journaling, of course, is that you can really experiment with the formats and the layouts and the structures of how you create your page spreads. So for the monthly page, I decided to make it on the lower half of the left side of the page so that I had room on top for my intentions. And I like to call them intentions instead of goals, because the word intention itself is a little more gentler for me anyways. And because if I use the word goals, in my mind, it's like if I don't fulfill that goal, I may end up with a disappointment. And so for me, it's about always managing my expectations the best I can. And so the word intention really, really fits me. And it's like I'm almost manifesting the month ahead. So if I set an intention, that may or may not come true, but I am not going to set an expectation on it for it to come true. Lastly, for this page, I ended up adding some of the beachy look to the cover page. So that meant drawing a little bathing suit in with a botanical and then a rainbow. And then I also added a shaded block in there. For any of the color that I'm adding to this bullet journal theme, I am using Tombow brush pens, and it is in the grayscale palette. And then for this month, I actually added a couple of the nude colors in there as well. And I added a wash of gray over any of the nude colors, just so that the color really has that faded neutral tone to it. And then for the shapes that I am filling in with black, I am using a Sakura Professional medium brush pen, and then for the white I am using a Jelly Roll size 08. Next, we are going to the habit and mood tracker, and it is the exact same format as last month. I really love this format so much, and so I keep it the same every single month. It just really, really works for me. So of course I just change out the theme. The things that I really like to track is my prayer and meditation, my bullet journaling, whether I spent money that day, whether I posted on Instagram, and if I did anything for self-care that day, whether I had my meeting or whether I attended that meeting, and then if I talked to my mentor. And this month I actually added a spot for headaches. I have been getting headaches a lot recently, and so I really want to track why I'm getting those headaches, if I can change anything in my diet or my routine that will help manage the headaches. So I added that in there. And then of course I do my mood, my focus, anxiety, and irritability, and I rate that from 1 to 4. And then I rate my medication and my sleep. And so this tracker works really well for me. And then on the left side, I just add all my elements that go with the theme. And I kept the symbols pretty consistent, but of course changed out the patterns and the colors a little bit here. So I kept my polka dotted bathing suit, which I love so much, and it's so much fun to draw. And then for the umbrella though, I did a checkered pattern instead of the polka dotted striped pattern on the page prior. And you will see that here in a little bit. So as I am drawing, I really want to emphasize that when I draw my theme, I kind of like to go with the flow. I don't try and map out everything right at once. So I will do the basic outline of the theme for that month, but the shapes and the colors and the patterns that I add, I kind of go with however the page or the drawing is taking me, and essentially what feels right, what looks right aesthetically, and what really feels minimal to me. It's a very personal and intuitive process, and that's why I really love it so much. When I think about creating this theme, right, I imagine myself going through the process of getting to the beach and the whole process of finding a cute bathing suit and then packing up and adding your umbrella to your bag, and then going to the beach itself and finding the shells, and what kind of shells do I want to find, and what do I actually find, right? And so I think of those things and I try to add them into my theme. And another way to really look to see what I'm going to add in the theme is by looking online for inspiration, or looking around the house or your yard for inspiration and finding shapes that match the symbol that you're trying to draw. And the whole process is just so much fun for me. And so next we are going to go ahead and do our first weekly of the month. So for this weekly, I decided to keep the Monday through Sunday part on the left side, and I wanted to go for a little bit more of a boxy feel instead of a open space type of look. I think that you can totally add borders to your page spreads and still make it look very minimal. And the way to do that is essentially by making your task list just smaller, so it adds a border around the task list. And so on the left side, I did the whole weekly page layout, and then on the right side, I did my notes and gratitude section. And then on the farther right side is where I ended up doing my theme. And then underneath it is where I lettered the month of July, and I added a little calendar in there on the right side, because I really like to explore weekly spreads that I just haven't done before. And so the basic layout is kind of similar to a lot of the spreads I've done, except the way I draw it, and it's kind of really all in the details itself. So you can see that there's a little space between the lines of the border of the boxes, and that is where I'm going to add the lettering. I've never done a layout that looks like that, so it was kind of just really fun for me to explore this layout style. I always get so excited when I finish a weekly before that week has started, because it just feels so good to start filling out this spread that you literally just worked so hard and put your creative juices in to create, and then you get to essentially enjoy that creation by filling it out. I get so much pleasure from it. That's why I just honestly love bullet journaling. It's just such an awesome experience to have with yourself. I really get to find myself through bullet journaling. And this has definitely been one of the things that I have stayed with for a really long time. I've been bullet journaling for almost 2 years now, and I don't think I've stuck with a commitment this long, or a habit. I've never stuck with a habit for this long that I thoroughly enjoyed every process of. So it's just really fun that I get to kind of share this passion of mine with you guys. And so back to the weekly, and for the symbols for this month's weekly, I basically added a bathing suit, an umbrella, a seashell, and a little cute summer hat. I think one of the reasons why I love this theme so much is because I get to really experiment with the patterns. I love adding patterns to my bullet journal and just exploring new ones. And so for the bathing suit, I decided to color the whole thing in with black and add a white grid pattern on top of it. I think it looks very retro. And so for the umbrella, I added polka dots and stripes, and then for the hat, I added stripes and filled in the little ribbon with all black. This page ended up turning out to be super cute. I am so in love with it, and I can't wait to fill it out on Monday the 29th. And as I am finishing up a few little details on this weekly, we are going to go ahead and skip over to the whole flip through of this month's theme. I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys in the outro. Well, that's it for the July Plan With Me video. I thoroughly enjoyed making this video and creating this bullet journal theme. I always seem to get something out of every month's theme, and for this month's theme, I learned that I could really get creative with my patterns, with the shades of colors that I'm using, kind of trying that collage format out, and just using different layouts that I'm not normally using in every month. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope that you guys also give this theme a try. If you do, please tag me on Instagram at Leela Journals. I would love to see your guys' recreations. I hope you guys have a beautiful day today, and if no one told you they loved you today, I love you. Mwah.